quick disclaimer before this video properly starts, or the tutorial part of it at least. There is quite a big amount of nonsense-ish things being said here. I was quite tired making it. So yeah, take some of the things being said with a grain of salt. This is mostly a video of me making a backflip and talking about the process and my thoughts. It was fun to make. I hope you guys will stick around to watch it. Hello, fair people of the Cillian audience. Okay, how to go about this? I'm making a tutorial about some manner of flips. I'll probably showcase in the start how this is going to look when we're done. So for now, let's just hop into it. I'm going to explain a few things, my thought process as I work on this, and give some basic information to start off. We have our character here. This is, I believe, the newest version of the BPS rig, the Black Platinum Studios rig, and I have 30 FPS, which is the base FPS that most usually you'd go for either 24 or 30. We're going for 30 here. I'm not going to explain that too much. And yeah, I also have my character in IK feet and FK arms, and the head is not following the rotation of the body. That is entirely up to you if you wanted to actually keep the rotation of the body. If I'll quickly explain how that works. Inherent rotation, essentially. For flips, some people would probably think that inherent rotation is better. I'm undecided on this still. With Minecraft rigs, I can do either. Either works for me. But with more like human characters, more humanoid proportions, I tend to have it without inherent rotation. So I'll stick to that for this here tutorial. Okay, so we have our character right here, our beautiful Cillian skin. He's standing in a pretty basic pose, and I'm going to just have him do some quick lean in. So he's going to, yeah, okay, for a backflip, he'll raise up a bit and then go way down, and then he'll shoot up. So I'm going to go through this rather quickly, because in the fixing phase, or the cleanup phase, if you want to call it that, we're going to go a bit deeper into what makes animation look sort of smooth. So right now, yeah, he does a little lean in, and then he's going to jet up, like really touch off. Alright, our character is in the air. This is usually when the spin happens. I have a slight background in gymnastics, tiny flex there, so I have some experience with how the body would move in a flip, how things would go. Not that you need that at all. But yeah, it certainly has helped me throughout my animation past, my history through animation, or whatever you'll call it. Our character he is flipping though. He is flipping. Yes, let's just... He then touches down, and then it does a little wiggle. It's not a perfect gymnast landing. It's more of a casual flip. So when he lands, he does a little wiggly. All right. So looking at this, there are some strange arcs here and there, and that's something we can easily fix. So when I animate flips, there is this nifty, cute little bone here that, if somebody remembers David RB or Arbiter 617's old flip tutorial that I remember watching myself, this bone was being used for like keeping the origin of rotation nicely at the middle of the body. In this tutorial, I'm going to ignore that because I feel like that's kind of unnecessary. At this point, he does a little flip. The next part I would do is probably the feet. This is something you'll just figure out over time, what you want to focus on first, what you want to save for later. I always used like this our main upper body bone. Steers all of the body. First, I make sure that one has kind of the base movement down, and then I get to our nifty feet, our cute little bonesies, footsies. It goes like that, so I imagine a slight raise of the foot up here, and then it kind of falls back here, and then this one. With the feet, the main thing you want to make sure of is yeah, okay, it's the same as with all other things in animation. You want to keep a balance, keep a nice pacing to things. But yeah, specifically with legs, their main function in anatomy and in general movement is, of course, keeping the balance of the rest of the body, making sure people don't fall down to their backs. So that's what you're going to think about when making animations as well. Like, okay, he leans back here. This pose is possible because we know he's falling back. He would fall if this foot didn't go back. Catch him. And yeah, this foot, maybe it has some slight like and then it goes a bit up as well, and then it comes back to the middle here, which makes for a nice kick-off, like a nice balance before the jump up. And yeah, both of the feet will stay here. That's the nice thing about IK. They're nicely placed exactly where we want them to be, and they stretch out to its maximum just as the character kicks off the ground. And yeah, everything can be polished later on. We're getting a general idea at this point. Jump up. I guess I wanna quickly change some things, like bit there, and then this is all good. So the feet will probably stay pretty much all stretched out for this part. I'm just placing them a bit more closely to the body for ease of placing them in the next frames. The feet lift up as they do, and then when the rotation of the flip hits its maximum, there are a million ways of doing a backflip, but the one that is considered the one that gives the most rotation, the quickest amount of time, is the tuck, where you tuck your body nicely in together to gain as little air resistance as possible. Yeah, that's the science behind backflips. And yeah, I tend to animate them somewhat like this, unless different characters might have different ways of doing backflips. So in the same animation, different characters might do backflips in different ways. You have the, I'm pretty sure, the kind of backflip where you're more like in this pose and kind of like way leans back like this throughout the entire flip. That's, if I'm not mistaken, that is called a layout flip. Like that's the literal name of that type of backflip, I think. And so this would be a yeah, I actually don't remember what this type of backflip is called, but it's like the base one that gymnasts do, where you're tucked in nicely. And yeah, sometimes in a flip you kind of want to go frame by frame. That shouldn't take too much time either, because flips, they happen fast. The only times it gets really tedious to do frame by frame is of course in longer sequences of animation, but a flip is quite quick. And you can get the general idea of where different body parts should be rather quickly. I'm not even going frame by frame entirely. I'm keeping it real, keeping it quick. And then we can go in and perfect it later on, frame by frame. Alright, and then the footsies, the toesies, and they stretch out as they connect with the ground. The rules are meant to be broken, as they say, but the general basic backflip, you would kind of stretch your feet out for making the landing as unimpactful as possible to ease the strain on your legs, so to say. So yeah, this is it wasn't clear already. This tutorial doesn't hold back. I am acting like all of you are beginners, though that might not be the case at all. I might be over-explaining things that I don't need to explain. But that's either something you've got to deal with, or you can skip ahead, or not watch it all. I'll probably like give a quick disclaimer early on. Alright, I'm already seeing certain things that I would very much like to change later on, but it has a nice flippiness to it. That is not a word. That is not a word at all. But okay, yeah, I'm noticing that in the early layout phase, I had the character kind of move strangely. I went ignored the head for now. I noticed, of course, that okay, the rig is kind of moving to that side. I'm going to just kind of ease that out a bit by having that transition as he moves more to the right here. Less noticeable by having it happen more gradually. And then we can do stuff like, oh, we can use this one for that actually. Like, okay. Boop. And then we can, of course, ease it out even more. Okay. Goes a bit much to the side there. Wait. And then we're free. Yeah, pretty much keeps it the right axis like that. Okay. Now I'm gonna just quickly touch up on the head. It goes like this, and then a bit down here, and then it will jet up. Then it will kind of get back here, and then it will stay in this lane, and they will kind of, yeah, the legs will be kind of trying to catch up with the rest of the body as it tucks in, but the head will kind of just meet with the feet, rotate a bit slower than the rest of the body, and then when our character exits the tuck, the head will start moving or rotating a bit faster before. Ugh. And now we can touch upon the feet a bit because of the strange rotation thingies we did earlier. Some parts are now looking strange, a little peculiar even. Ah yes, spectacular. Now I'm gonna just touch up on stuff here and there. Like this backflip is currently very symmetric, which there's no problem with. That was kind of what I was, or that was entirely what I was going for. But if we were to like customize it a bit, we could do stuff like have this foot be a bit faster, like into the tuck, and then this foot a bit more like that, and this foot like that, and this foot all the way up here at this point, and then this foot there, this foot like there, and then they're both almost at the same point here. But then this, when you have like one foot that is more aggressively going into the tuck, this one being a bit quicker at the start, then I imagine that one being a bit slower towards the end. So they kind of shift places. Okay, let's move on to the next part that I'm going to do, which is the upper body, the torso, if you will. And then this one will, like that. Yeah, exactly, yes. I am not going insane, I swear. And then just add in some slight movements. That is good enough for now. Alright, and now our arms. These are main carriers of momentum and intention. The parts of the body with the second most personality, if I'm correct, the face being the first. So I imagine, like, okay, yeah, anticipation. The person that has some sort of animation background, or animation education background, or maybe not even that, will know what anticipation is in terms of animation. We want to make sure the viewer knows what the character is going to do to a certain degree, as to make the emotion less jarring. Rules are meant to be broken. Unless the rules are good, then you can actually try to stick to them. And anticipation is a rule we want to try to stick to for the most part. Squash and stretch is a concept that is always there when you make animation. You want to keep that squash and stretch going in your thought process, but not necessarily as in you need to actually squash and stretch the mesh all the time. That isn't always a necessity. You can kind of like embody the idea of squash and stretch by just this foot is stretching out, or you could actually make squash and stretch. This is something, as I've worked in BPS, we go by the let's not squash and stretch the mesh too much, at least not to a super noticeable degree. But I'm a bit of a rebel. I do it from time to time as I work on BPS projects. But this would basically be the squash and stretch. Like, okay, let's remove that scaling. A bit of scale on the set axis, scale, set, move it down, then scale it down on all the others. Scale a bit up on the set axis again. Whoop, whoop. Now you have a entirely squashed out leg. That yeah, that is the thing. I did that. I did squash and stretch. And now we want to continue with our flip. Alright, so yeah. The hand goes up, carries the momentum upwards, and then it tucks in. I'm actually doing a bit wrong here. It shouldn't like move down to catch the legs. The legs should kind of move up to where the hand is. Yes, 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 and then perfect. Just fine-tuning a bit, trying to get my intent across. Ah, yes, yes, yes. Bravo, bravo me. Boop, and then, oh wow, I really moved that out of socket. And then the other arm. Let's not forget our left arms. If you are left-armed, or what is it called, lefty, like and subscribe. That's the only like and subscribe promotion I'll do for this video. If you are left-handed, you are obligated to subscribe. If not, then you're obligated to unsubscribe if you are subscribed. Yes, I don't want any right-handed people on my channel, not even myself. Okay, trying to keep it a bit like symmetrical. Like here, you can see. Okay, giving this hand a bit more like that. Yes. And then just some slight movements there. And then just for personality reasons, he's not doing a flip for no, like, just out of the blue. So let's just, he's looking around, seeing if people noticed the cool flip that he just did. This is not a necessary part of the process at all. It's just my my wish to give things personality, which is bleeding into this. Oh, he's looking. Oh, did somebody see? Probably not, Cillian. I'm terribly sorry. This tutorial has 0 views. Oh, what, really? Yeah. So there you go, for the most part. So let's look this through. Okay. He's jumping up. I'm seeing some slight things I would wish to kind of touch on. Yeah, okay, so there's like a big leg gets up and then it has like a big small moment of kind of just going straight down here before it's, yeah, there's some strange things going on there, which is where like having the actual, like I've been using this bone, that's not necessarily necessary. You have a bunch of like ways to actually just modify the entire character rig, which I am going to use right now. This isn't a like this might, for all I know, be like a big animation sin. You never wanna like try and fix like arcs by doing this kind of stuff. But hey, I'm gonna try anyway. So I noticed that my arcs weren't entirely to my liking, so I just made this be less of a like. Because if I delete this, he kind of like goes down there and then it slows. It's hard to explain, but just there's a slight issue there that I feel like can be eased out like that. And actually, I feel like I can do this and then have you be higher up here. Yeah. Yes. We're getting somewhere. So he lands, poof, and then he goes a bit up, like, okay. Land, goes down a bit, like, let's just exaggerate that a bit. Poof. Yeah, yes, and then you go up. And this, like, he raises his upper body. That's like a nice moment to like raise his foot up a bit and then kind of rebalance himself. This is just like the small things that will give your animation a bit more like personality. Okay, he raises his foot up like that, and because of that, I want to go in and like this is kind of becoming like an in general animation tips and tricks here. There's a few things surrounding like actually making a backflip that I felt could be nice to include here. Depending on if you're curious about that or not. Yeah, so whoop, boop, boop. And then I imagine this one just slightly moving to the side here. A bit up here. And I actually feel like this could happen a bit later on. And a bit slower, actually. No need to rush yourself, Cillian. You have plenty of time to readjust your balance. I'm not really talking too much about my thought process here anymore. This is mostly just the way I do things at this point, which I hope isn't too painful. If you have any questions about why I did this and that, I assume you can ask them in the comment section. Let's create some interaction through that. All right, let's see. Now is the time I would go like actually frame by frame. And I'm not noticing any like glaring popping out issues. Yes. Our dude is, or wait, okay, if I look from the front. Kind of. Depends on how, yeah, okay. There is like an area here where things are a bit awkward. Awkward with the body. Which I think I can attest to, or I would say the head is the where I have my issue. It is rotating a bit too slowly. So I would like there, because if it's like a bit more forward here, and yes, going frame by frame allows you to spot these like slight things that are probably not like really necessary to fix, because this is a tutorial. I'm going to keep an eye out for them a bit more. Like, this is again kind of squash and stretch, because with Minecraft characters, like that is just entirely dependent on style. If you want to like move body parts around, or if you want to kind of like keep the head where the head is initially connected at all times. But I tend to like, okay, here, this frame specifically, I feel like he could stretch his neck out kind of. Of course, Minecraft characters don't have necks, but kind of emulating that with moving the head a bit up. And then, boop boop. And then the head can be like, and now I'm kind of starting to notice the irregularities with the rotations of things. Boop boop. Okay, not at all perfect, I would say. Yeah, okay. You'll never hit 100% with animation. Even our big boys up at Pixar will probably never look at their own stuff and go, yeah, this is that 100% perfect move. Sometimes you like I'll assume that the Pixar guys always reach like 99%. But in our case, we're animating Minecraft characters do wacky silly stuff. We can say that, okay, we've reached that 90 or maybe even 95% of what I feel is necessary with this specific move, and call it a day at that point. Like I could be here for hours trying to like tweak out certain arcs a bit more, which if I didn't right now tell me that, okay, this is time to stop, I would do that. This is where our flip ended up. He's flipping. So that is my my short little backflip tutorial. I have actually recorded this for 35 minutes at this point, which is not what it feels like. Yeah, okay. So, if this was helpful in any way, which is kind of hard for me to actually imagine, then I appreciate your I appreciate your attention and your viewership. I do hope that this was kind of helpful to some people here and there, and otherwise enjoying, or you got some manner of enjoyment out of it. I certainly had fun. So if this is something that you're interested in seeing more of, like different kinds of like going through a move, like a backflip, like maybe some sword fighting stuff, or otherwise weapons related stuff, maybe some parkour vaults, anything of the animation genre, or maybe you want to see some non-Minecraft character stuff with some of my other rigs. Yeah, be sure to mention that in the comments down below. God, I'm sounding like an actual YouTuber at this point. So yeah, I'll see you guys almost as much as you'll see me in my next video. Take care.